And so now it's a no contest. And the fight is over. And oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You know, a lot of people online are talking a lot of saying that he quit. The reality is, Cyril was looking good. He damaged Tom, he busted the nose up early. They both landed some shots. Tom landed a really good low kick.
Shock in the octagon as Tom Aspinall is rushed to the hospital after a brutal eye poke from Chael Gane. The fight ends in a no contest, leaving fans stunned and questioning if this could mark the end of a champion's rise. Meanwhile, the CEO and driving force behind the UFC, Dana White, said fighters can't be forced to continue if they feel injured, and that anything can happen in a fight, leaving the door open for a possible rematch.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds, and it was going to be a good fight.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah. Total pain in the ass, but yes.
On the other hand, Gane insisted the incident was unintentional and expressed confidence in his early performance, saying he had anticipated Aspinall's fast start and was starting to assert control before the abrupt and unfortunate halt.
I know he loves to start very fast, and so I was touching him. I was, defending the takedown, and at the middle of the first round, I was feeling myself in a state of flow. I was starting to understand very well what was happening, and then I felt like I would end this fight.
Dana White summed up the fight with a mix of praise and frustration, calling it a great bout with a beautifully terrible ending. He noted that Gane looked dominant during the 4 minutes before the stoppage, while Aspinall, though hurt, will have a chance for redemption in the rematch. White also dismissed blame on the new gloves, saying no design can prevent an accidental eye poke.
I mean, I feel the way everybody feels. Great showing. The ending, you know. I think that after the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Chael Gane off. He looked damn good tonight.
Yeah, what did you think about the fight on its way to the eye poke? What did you take from those 4 minutes?
Good. Looked like we were in for a few rounds, and it was going to be a good fight.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the cards. Would you like to just rebook these guys as soon as Tom is able to get back in there?
Yeah. Total pain in the ass, but yes.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen was visibly frustrated as he struggled to process the bizarre outcome of the fight. His anger was clear, yet he could not quite decide who deserved it. Tom Aspinall was the unfortunate victim of an eye poke, while Chael Gane did not appear to have acted with any intent. Still, Chael's emotions boiled over as he searched for someone or something to blame. The irony was that his frustration was not truly directed at either fighter, but at the situation itself, a promising contest cut short by pure misfortune.
Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Chael did that on purpose. So, I also can't, or am not mad at Chael, but I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now,
Chael observed that Tom Aspinall may have underestimated the challenge, with the brief but intense exchange serving as a wake-up call for future encounters. Chael Gane gained confidence, proving he remains one of the most polished heavyweights. Even without a definitive ending, Sonnen noted that both fighters enhanced their reputations. He added that the fight showcased the high-level skills and potential of both athletes.
Tom found himself in a fight that was harder than others thought it was going to be. So the next time they fight, Tom will be armed with that information. That could be very helpful. But Chael seemingly to me would have left there with a confidence. This is a guy that's counted out. He's a 3.5 to 1 dog everywhere he goes. He's having to hear questions about Tom and what's next for Tom as champion. Should Tom fight John Jones? Should Tom fight Pereira? And it would seem like Chael would come out of that contest with a very good confidence of, hey, I can deal with this guy. And Chael didn't have to take Tom's power. Chael was actually able to. Chael rolled us a few things. If you go back and you watch that fight, there was even a moment where Tom threw a hook, and the hook comes right here, and Chael turns his own head. I mean, Oscar De La Hoya used to do that. Very high-level boxing defense, where the punch will come and you just turn your head and look away, and the punch just misses right by, and Chael comes right back in and throws across.
He also criticized Tom Aspinall, noting that he found himself on the wrong end of an accidental eye poke, which exposed how unready he was for the intensity Gane brought. While rules were broken, it seemed almost like a convenient way for him to be slowed down. Sonnen suggested that in the heavyweight division, rising to the challenge requires more than just talent, and that Aspinall struggled to maintain composure when things got messy.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eyes, trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite, we're trying to show grace, but in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye at times.
Well, we're sitting here as the stoppage approaches a minute and a half, and I said, wow, watch it end like this, because it didn't look that bad on initial look. You were calling it, Chael, minutes before the fight stopped. You said he's already made his decision. This fight's not continuing.
While speaking of Tom's abilities, Anthony Smith made this clear that his skill set remains among the best in the division, yet the moment he tried to throw Chael Gane, the tide began to turn. What started as a confident move quickly became a struggle as Tom lost momentum and control. From there, he seemed to battle against the rhythm of the fight rather than dictate it. Perhaps with more time, he could have steadied himself and made the right adjustments, but in that brief window, the advantage had already slipped away.
When Tom starts to throw, Chael dips, and he's gone. Well, then Tom was starting to struggle with that. Now, in the next 20 minutes, was he going to be able to figure that out? I don't know. But typically, you're at your best in the first round, especially when you weigh 260 pounds and you carry all that muscle and size and weight. I don't know that he was going to get better in the next 20 minutes, but maybe he could make some adjustments, slow down. But he was also fighting like a guy that was in a 2-round fight. He was kind of sprinting.
Anthony also gave his usual blunt take, suggesting that a fighter's job is to keep going, no matter how tough it gets. He hinted that an eye poke should not end such a big fight, and while not blaming Tom Aspinall, implied that real fighters find a way to continue. His comments carried both criticism and motivation, a reminder that grit is part of life inside the octagon.
You had a job to do, and you, for whatever reason, you guys did whatever you did and you didn't do your job. I'm not saying it's Tom's fault, and I'm not gonna, pretend that I know how bad it is or isn't. I think Chael made a poetic point that you have to be used to or willing to fight with one eye. I did it in Singapore. Everyone talks about it all the time, where the ladies waving stuff in front of my eyes. I can't see it. So what do? I just walk away and say, let's fight. You just, you either want to or you don't. And my fight wasn't for a world title. I didn't have Chael Gane in front of me throwing bombs. But the second that there was an issue, I knew that I wanted to continue, so I know what to say.
Demetrius Johnson offered a fair and insightful take, praising both Tom Aspinall and Chael Gane for their performances. He highlighted Tom's sharp timing, speed, and precise movement, as well as Gane's composure and control from the southpaw stance. Johnson noted that both men displayed elite skill, calling the matchup one of the most technical in the heavyweight division.
One of the things that Chael Gane did very, very well against Tom Aspinall is he kept always turning Tom Aspinall. If I'm fighting someone and I'm constantly turning them, when they decide to blitz, I'm not on the railroad tracks. I can't get run over by the train. And Chael Gane did a good job of popping that jab. Each time Tom Aspinall tried to get close, pop, from the south position, he'll always land that jab. Now, Tom Aspinall did do some great things. I love how he threw the body kick. And one thing that Tom Aspinall does very well, if you guys go back and watch his fights, and even this fight, he's able to throw a high kick. Once he lands a high kick, he gets his feet down super fast and pop, pop. So he's pop, 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 or pop, pop, pop.
While most analysts focused on Chael Gane's skill and composure, MMA Guru took a far less diplomatic route, practically crowning Gane the master of accidental fouls. With his usual flair for outrage, he claimed that the eye poke was not just bad luck, but part of a pattern, painting Gane as a repeat offender who somehow finds a way to accidentally land his fingers exactly where they should not be. It was classic MMA Guru commentary, dripping with sarcasm and suspicion, turning an unfortunate moment into what he portrayed as yet another chapter in Gane's supposed rule-bending career.
Worried about it going in, but I didn't really mention it too much. Didn't want to jinx anything. People were saying Jones is going to possess the body of Gane to beat Tom. Turns out he did, and he eye gouged Tom badly. Twice in the fight as well. He did it earlier in the fight, 3 minutes 11 seconds in, to stop a takedown from Tom. And then later in the fight, it wasn't even the eye poke. He landed the eye poke, and then he forced his fingers into the eye. He framed on the eyes. And once he knew it was on the eyes, he forced his fingers into the eyes of Aspinall.
MMA Guru, despite his usual harsh tone, admitted that Chael Gane held a slight edge during the short fight. He claimed that Tom Aspinall struggled to find his rhythm, though he did land some solid kicks and body shots. In Guru's view, Gane simply managed to stay a bit sharper in the early exchanges, but the fight ended too abruptly to prove who truly had the upper hand.
Insane from Chael Gane. I have no idea what he was thinking. Well, I do. He was cheating, and he was keeping range by doing that. And he did it earlier in the fight to stop a takedown as well. But Tom tanked that one. Didn't hurt him as bad, but that one got really bad for him. But I'll point out some stats here. Beyond the eye pokes, Gane was schooling him. Gane's clearly the better fighter. Tom got fraud checked.
Joey Beltran offered his perspective on the situation, noting that moments like these often test a fighter's resolve as much as their skill. He reflected that while injuries can abruptly change the course of a bout, the ability to stay composed under pressure can sometimes shift how a fight is remembered. Without placing fault on anyone, he suggested that perseverance in difficult moments often defines a fighter's legacy. Coming from someone who has endured many hard battles, his words carried the sense that toughness is as vital in the octagon as technique itself.
Could not continue. Tom Aspinall kind of quit. Tom Aspinall quit. I mean, it's just the reality of it. He got eye poked. He could not continue. It's a no contest. Tom Aspinall is still your heavyweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion. The most disputed title in the history of the sport. John Jones disputes it. Francis Ngannou disputes it. And now Chael Gane disputes it as well.
Joey Beltran suggested that the eye poke was not the only factor in the outcome, noting that Chael Gane had already begun to control the fight as Tom Aspinall struggled to find his usual first-round rhythm. Gane's timing and accuracy were taking over, though Beltran admitted Tom's intelligence and adaptability might have allowed him to adjust if the bout had continued. In Beltran's view, the fight's momentum had shifted against Tom well before the stoppage.
Tom Aspinall is the best in the first round. He hasn't been out of a first round since 2021, okay? That's how long since it's been since Tom Aspinall's been out of a first round. And Tom Aspinall is getting busted up in the first round. 2 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock in the first round. He's looking up at the clock. His nose is gushing blood. He's breathing out of his mouth, and he's punching at air against Chael Gane. So before the eye poke even happens, I believe that I saw enough that Chael Gane wins this fight. And I think it's a little bit unfair to just straight up say Tom Aspinall is a quitter, but I do believe Tom Aspinall is a smart guy. He took everything into account. He says, I'm breathing heavy. We're not even out of the first round. I'm busted up. I'm bleeding out of my nose. I can't breathe out of my nose. And now I got poked in the eye. I'm at more of a disadvantage now. I'm probably going to lose, or I can take the no contest and fight on, live to fight another day. And I think that's what Tom Aspinall decided to do.
Sugar Sean pointed out that Chael Gane started off impressively, while Aspinall suffered a nosebleed and Tom got poked. He stressed that Tom's resilience is unquestionable and that Gane had no intention of causing it. The crowd's irritation appeared to stem more from the long wait for the fight rather than Tom's showing, especially since it ended without a decisive outcome.
Chael Gane was looking so good in that first round. Tom Aspinall's nose was bleeding. Chael was landing with that jab. I got a heavyweight. You go in there, and a lot of the times a heavyweight, you see guys not really engage too much because it takes one punch, especially from two big punches like that. And Tom was kind of pushed, like coming forward. Chael was landing beautiful jabs, circling all around. He won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight. And I thought Tom was going to go out there and kind of run through Chael. That was going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, I guess running it back makes sense. Post-fight reaction from Tom Aspinall. What the fuck you booing? I'm the one that got poked in the eye. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not the one that poked him. Tom Aspinall would fight through that. He wouldn't get punched. Eye swells up and go, I'm done. I can't see. It's different because he got poked in the eye. That is an illegal strike. Illegal. It was an accident. 100% I believe it was an accident. I don't think Chael did it on purpose. Chael was getting the better of Tom. But to question Tom's toughness is insane. No one wanted no one wanted that more than Tom Aspinall. He wanted to fight. He wanted to fight more than we wanted to watch him fight. So it's hard, you can't question Tom's toughness.
After the chaotic ending, fans and analysts flooded social media with reactions, making it one of the most debated fights of the year. Dana White called it a great fight with a terrible ending. while Chael Sonnen saw it as a learning moment for both fighters. Anthony Smith and Joey Beltran stressed toughness, Demetrius Johnson praised their skill, and MMA Guru stirred controversy by questioning Gane's intent. The fight instantly became a storm of opinions, arguments, and speculation across the MMA world.
Tom Aspinall's title fight against Ciryl Gane ended with a bit of a letdown after being ruled a no contest when Aspinall was unable to continue after what is certainly one of the worst looking, not single, but double eye pokes I've seen in the sport.
Now, as the dust settles, anticipation has replaced outrage. The demand for a rematch grows stronger each day, with fans eager to see how this story truly ends. Both fighters showed enough promise to leave the MMA world wanting more, and the next chapter could finally deliver the closure everyone is waiting for.